Have you ever felt that cold, unsettling sensation when someone close to you smiles at your face, but their eyes tell a completely different story? Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But what happens when those closest to us become mirrors of our deepest fears? Carl Jung. Onward thinkers, my name is Mister Halvig, and you're watching The Rational Wise. Carl Jung understood something most people spend their entire lives refusing to acknowledge. The human psyche harbors depths so profound and contradictory that even those we trust most can become vessels of hidden resentment. Jung warned us that the shadow self doesn't just exist within us. It operates through the very people who share our dinner tables, our secrets, and our most vulnerable moments. Today we're going to explore something uncomfortable, something that will make you question relationships you've taken for granted. Jung identified patterns of behavior that reveal when someone close to you has crossed from love into something far more dangerous: secret hatred. This isn't about obvious enemies. Those are easy to spot. This is about the friend who celebrates your birthday while secretly hoping you fail. The family member who offers advice designed to sabotage you. The partner who holds your hand while undermining your confidence. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll dissect 6 psychological signs that Jung identified as markers of hidden animosity. But be warned, this knowledge comes with a cost. Once you see these patterns, you cannot unsee them. Once you understand how the human mind operates in the shadows, your relationships will never look the same again. The promise I make to you is this: by the end of this journey, you'll possess the psychological toolkit to identify those who smile with their mouths while their souls harbor darkness toward you. You'll learn to read the subtle language of betrayal, and most importantly, you'll understand why this knowledge might just save your sanity, your success, and perhaps even your life. Sign 1. The sarcastic surgeon. Jung observed that humans often express their deepest truths through what he called compensation behavior, actions that appear opposite to their true feelings. The first sign someone close secretly hates you lies in their use of sarcasm as a surgical instrument. This isn't the playful banter between genuine friends. This is precision cruelty disguised as humor. They deliver cutting remarks about your appearance, your choices, your dreams, always followed by that insidious phrase, "I'm just joking." But Jung understood that jokes are never just jokes. They're socially acceptable ways to express forbidden thoughts. Consider the psychological mechanics at work here. When someone harbors secret resentment, their psyche seeks release. Sarcasm provides the perfect outlet because it allows them to wound you while maintaining plausible deniability. They get the satisfaction of expressing their true feelings while avoiding the social consequences of direct hostility. History provides us with a chilling example. In the court of Louis XIV, the Duke of Saint-Simon mastered this art. He would compliment courtiers on their ambitious simplicity or their refreshing honesty, phrases that sounded like praise but carried barbs that could destroy reputations. Saint-Simon understood that the most effective poison is administered with honey. In our modern context, this manifests in comments like, "You're so brave to wear that," or "I wish I had your confidence to post such personal things online." These statements sound supportive, but they're designed to plant seeds of self-doubt. The speaker gets to appear caring while delivering psychological warfare, the arsenal you need. When someone consistently uses sarcasm directed at your vulnerabilities, don't laugh it off. Jung would tell you to pay attention to the pattern, not the individual incident. Document these moments mentally. A true friend builds you up. A secret enemy tears you down one joke at a time. Sign 2. The absent celebration. Jung discovered that humans have an innate need to share joy with their tribe. When this sharing breaks down, it reveals something profound about the relationship's true nature. The second sign someone close secretly hates you is their inability to genuinely celebrate your victories. This goes beyond mere jealousy. This is emotional absence during your moments of triumph. They might physically be present when you announce good news, They might even say congratulatory words, but their energy tells a different story. Their smile never reaches their eyes. Their applause feels hollow. Their congratulations carry the weight of obligation, not joy. Jung understood this as a manifestation of what he called shadow projection. When someone sees you succeeding, it triggers their own feelings of inadequacy. Instead of dealing with these feelings constructively, they project their shadow onto you, transforming your success into evidence of their failure. The Greek myth of Medea provides a dark illustration of this principle. When Jason achieved glory with the golden fleece, Medea, who had sacrificed everything to help him, couldn't bear to see him celebrated while she remained in the shadows. Her love curdled into something monstrous, and she ultimately destroyed not just Jason's happiness, but innocent lives in the process. In contemporary life, this appears when you get promoted and your closest friend responds with, "Well, you always were lucky," instead of genuine happiness. It shows when you fall in love and they immediately point out your partner's flaws. It manifests when you achieve a goal and they shift the conversation to their own struggles. The deeper psychology here is revealing. Someone who truly cares about you experiences vicarious joy in your success. Their mirror neurons fire in sympathy with your happiness. When this mechanism fails, when they cannot access genuine celebration for your victories, it indicates that their emotional investment in your well-being has been compromised by something darker. Your defense strategy: notice who shows up emotionally when you succeed versus who shows up when you're struggling. True friends are present for both. Secret enemies offer comfort in your pain because it makes them feel superior, but they withhold celebration from your joy because it threatens their self-image. Sign 3. The information assassin. Jung recognized that power often operates through information control. The third sign someone close secretly hates you involves what he called strategic omission, the deliberate withholding of information that would benefit you, coupled with the sharing of information that might harm you. This is psychological warfare disguised as forgetfulness or social dynamics. They forget to tell you about opportunities that would advance your career. They don't think to mention that someone was asking about you in a professional context, yet they mysteriously remember every piece of gossip, every criticism, every negative comment that involves you. The psychology behind this behavior is sophisticated. By controlling information flow, they maintain subtle power over your life trajectory. They get to play God with your opportunities while appearing innocent of any malicious intent. After all, they can always claim they simply forgot or didn't think it was important. Consider the case of Francesco Pazzi in Renaissance Florence. As a close associate of the Medici family, Pazzi had access to crucial political and financial information. Instead of using this access to strengthen his relationships, he selectively shared intelligence that would undermine the Medicis while withholding information that could protect them. His information warfare ultimately culminated in the famous Pazzi conspiracy, an assassination attempt that shook the foundations of Florence. In modern relationships, this appears when a friend knows about a job opening perfect for you, but doesn't mention it until after the deadline passes. It shows when they share every detail of office politics that makes you look bad, but somehow miss the conversations that would make you look good. It manifests when they know about social gatherings you'd want to attend, but consistently forget to invite you. Jung would say this behavior reveals someone who has moved from seeing you as an ally to seeing you as competition. They're using information as a weapon while maintaining the facade of friendship or family loyalty. Your tactical response: start paying attention to information patterns. Who tells you about opportunities versus who tells you about problems? Who seems to know everything about situations that could hurt you, but nothing about situations that could help you? This pattern reveals more about their true intentions than any words they might speak. The people closest to you have the power to destroy or elevate your life through the simple act of choosing what they remember to tell you. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps more than you think. Now let's continue. Sign 4, the empathy void. Jung spent decades studying human emotional responses and discovered that empathy operates like a muscle. It either engages naturally or it doesn't. The 4 signs someone close secretly hates you is their inability to access genuine empathy when you're suffering, combined with an almost comfortable presence during your pain. This creates one of the most disturbing dynamics in human relationships. When you're hurt, struggling, or facing crisis, they might offer surface-level comfort, but there's something hollow about their response. They might say the right words, but their body language suggests they're more comfortable with your pain than they should be. Some even seem energized by your suffering. Jung understood this as evidence that your pain serves a psychological function for them. Your struggles make them feel better about their own lives. Your crises provide them with a sense of superiority or control. In the darkest cases, they've unconsciously or consciously assigned themselves the role of witness to your downfall. The ancient Greek concept of schadenfreude, pleasure derived from another's misfortune, finds its most cruel expression in intimate relationships. When Clytemnestra watched Agamemnon return from Troy, she offered the appearance of a welcoming wife, but inwardly she savored his vulnerability, knowing she held his death in her hands. Her years of resentment had transformed love into something predatory. In contemporary relationships, this manifests when someone seems more present during your divorces than your weddings, more available during your failures than your successes. They offer to help, but their help often comes with subtle judgment or advice that makes your situation worse. They ask for updates about your problems with an eagerness that feels more like curiosity than concern. The psychological mechanism here is crucial to understand. Someone who genuinely cares about you experiences your pain as their own pain through mirror neurons and emotional contagion. When this natural response is absent or reversed, it indicates that their emotional connection to you has been severed or transformed into something malevolent. Your protective strategy. Notice who seems energized by your problems versus drained by them. True friends find your pain painful. They want to help you solve problems, not explore them endlessly. Secret enemies want to hear every detail of your suffering because it feeds something dark within them. Sign 5, the subtle saboteur. Jung observed that humans often express unconscious hostility through what appears to be helpful behavior. The 5th sign someone close secretly hates you is their pattern of offering assistance that consistently leads to negative outcomes for you. This is perhaps the most insidious form of hidden animosity because it's nearly impossible to confront directly. They volunteer to help with important projects, then deliver subpar work. They offer advice that sounds reasonable but leads you into complications. They agree to handle responsibilities for you, then forget or make crucial mistakes at the worst possible moments. The psychological sophistication here is remarkable. They get to maintain their image as a supportive person while systematically undermining your success. They can always claim incompetence rather than malice, leaving you frustrated but unable to prove intentional sabotage. Jung would identify this as passive-aggressive expression of the shadow self. Their conscious mind might genuinely believe they want to help you, but their unconscious mind is working toward your failure. This creates behavior that appears caring on the surface while being destructive in its effects. History offers us the example of Iago in Shakespeare's Othello. Though fictional, the character represents a psychological type Jung would recognize immediately. Iago positioned himself as Othello's loyal advisor while systematically planting seeds of doubt and manufacturing evidence of betrayal. His advice always sounded reasonable. His concern always appeared genuine. But every suggestion led Othello closer to destruction. In modern contexts, this appears when someone offers to proofread your important documents, but somehow misses obvious errors. It shows when they volunteer to represent you in crucial meetings, but fail to advocate effectively for your interests. It manifests when they agree to help you network, but consistently introduce you to people in ways that diminish rather than enhance your reputation. The deeper pattern to recognize is that their mistakes always seem to occur at the most inconvenient moments and always seem to harm you rather than help you. One or two incidents might be genuine accidents, but Jung would tell you to look for the pattern across time. Your defensive approach, when someone's help consistently creates more problems than it solves, stop accepting their help. Pay attention to outcomes rather than intentions. Someone who truly supports you will be mortified when their assistance goes wrong and will work to prevent it from happening again. Sign 6, the loyalty charade. Jung's final and most devastating insight concerns what he called performative loyalty. The sixth sign, someone close secretly hates you. This involves grand displays of public support coupled with private undermining or emotional withdrawal. These individuals become masters of this loyalty performance. In public settings, they defend you vigorously. They post supportive comments on your social media. They tell mutual friends how much they care about you. But in private moments, in one-on-one interactions, something fundamental is missing. Their emotional presence feels manufactured rather than authentic. Jung understood this as the shadow self's most sophisticated defense mechanism. By creating elaborate public displays of loyalty, they protect themselves from having to confront their own negative feelings toward you. They can point to their public behavior as evidence of their good intentions, while privately harboring resentment, envy, or even hatred. The historical example that best illustrates this principle is Marcus Junius Brutus and his relationship with Julius Caesar. Brutus publicly positioned himself as one of Caesar's most loyal supporters. He accepted honors from Caesar, sat in his inner circle, and appeared to be among his most trusted advisors. Yet privately, Brutus was nurturing philosophical and political objections to Caesar's power that eventually led him to join the assassination conspiracy. What makes this particularly devastating is that Caesar trusted Brutus precisely because of his public loyalty. The private betrayal was so shocking because it contradicted every public signal Brutus had given. Jung would say that Brutus's elaborate public displays of loyalty were actually compensation for his private feelings of resentment and ideological opposition. In contemporary relationships, this manifests when someone consistently speaks well of you to others, but feels emotionally distant when you're alone together. They might defend you against criticism in group settings, but offer little genuine warmth or connection in private moments. Their support feels scripted rather than spontaneous, performed rather than felt. The psychological mechanism here involves compartmentalization. They can maintain the public performance of loyalty while privately processing feelings of resentment, competition, or dislike. This allows them to preserve their self-image as a good person while harboring darker emotions toward you. Your recognition strategy: pay attention to the difference between public and private emotional energy from people close to you. Someone who genuinely cares about you will show consistent emotional warmth in both settings. If the public support feels performative, while private interactions feel hollow or tense, Jung would warn you that their loyalty is a carefully constructed facade. The most dangerous enemies are those who have convinced themselves they are your friends. Now that we've explored these 6 signs, you might be wondering what to do with this knowledge. Jung would remind us that awareness is the first step towards psychological freedom, but it comes with responsibility. The uncomfortable truth is that you might recognize these patterns in people you love, people you've trusted, people you never suspected. You might even recognize these patterns in yourself, moments when you've harbored secret resentments while maintaining a facade of support. Jung's greatest insight was that the human psyche is capable of holding contradictory emotions simultaneously. Someone can love you and hate you, support you and undermine you, wish you well and hope you fail. This isn't necessarily a sign of evil. It's a sign of the complex, often contradictory nature of human psychology. But here's what Jung would insist. You have the right to protect yourself from people whose unconscious hostility is harming your life, regardless of their conscious intentions. You have the right to distance yourself from relationships that consistently leave you feeling drained, confused, or undermined. The question is not whether these people are consciously malicious. Most of them probably aren't. The question is whether their presence in your life is psychologically healthy for you. Jung believed that we attract and maintain relationships that reflect our own psychological state. Sometimes recognizing hidden animosity in others is actually an invitation to examine our own shadow and understand why we've accepted treatment that doesn't serve us. Your path forward requires both external awareness and internal examination. Watch for these 6 signs in your relationships, but also ask yourself why you might have unconsciously invited or tolerated such dynamics. Jung would say that every external relationship is a mirror of internal psychological patterns. Some relationships can be healed through honest conversation and boundary setting. Others need to be consciously diminished or ended. The wisdom lies in knowing which is which and having the courage to act on that knowledge. Remember that protection doesn't require confrontation. Sometimes the most powerful response to hidden animosity is simple withdrawal of access. You don't need to expose their behavior or demand explanations. You simply begin investing your emotional energy in relationships that genuinely nourish rather than drain you. Jung's ultimate message was about psychological sovereignty, your right and responsibility to create a life that supports your authentic self, rather than maintaining relationships that require you to diminish or betray yourself. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 6 signs resonates most strongly with your own experience? Have you recognized these patterns in relationships you've had? Let me know what you think in the comments. I read every single one. And of course, subscribe for more high-value content. Your intuition already knows who these people are. The question is whether you'll finally listen to it. The journey towards psychological awareness is never comfortable, but it's always liberating. When you stop accepting crumbs of affection from people who secretly resent your existence, you make space for relationships that celebrate your authentic self. Jung spent his life studying the depths of human consciousness, and his message to us is clear. You deserve relationships that enhance rather than diminish your life force. You deserve people who celebrate your victories, support your struggles, and treat your well-being as sacred. The shadows will always exist in human relationships, but you have the power to choose which shadows you allow to touch your life. Use this knowledge wisely, use it compassionately, but most importantly, use it to protect the precious gift of your authentic self. Your psychological freedom depends on your willingness to see clearly, act decisively, and choose consciously. The people who secretly hate you are counting on your blindness, your politeness, your unwillingness to trust your own perceptions. Don't give them that power. Onward, thinkers.